Hello and welcome to the show. I am back on a Car Mechanic Simulator, and today we are going to finally start work on building my hot rod. Yes, the classic Ford is going to have some work done. Now, I plan for this build, as I briefly spoke about last time while fixing up the Aston. I am going to try and buy as fewer parts for this car new from the shop as I can possibly get away with. I'm going to try and repair as many bits as possible. Now, I could spend forever searching around the junkyard to try and find parts. It would just take a very, very long time. Instead, I'm going to essentially buy up junk cars and kind of use them as donor vehicles. I've also just noted the rust patch, or the rust pattern under the bonnet looks like a terrifying face. You know what? Let's maybe do that. So, yeah, we're going to try and find parts. If I could find a couple more of these Fords, that would probably be quite good. Like, overall, I can get, hopefully, a complete car. There are some bits that I can't repair. Just can't repair full stop. But as many parts as I can, I am going to try. Now, this Atlanta Trespasser does have pretty much all of the same suspension parts. It has all of the same running gear near enough. Now, completely different engine in this, but most of the running gear is the same, so I might use that as a donor car for some of the bits on here. Yes, the same rear and I believe same front. That's crossmember D. That is crossmember E. Okay, I'm gonna tear the parts off this and repair them. I might get away with having be able to repair that crossmember, but I don't know. So we could do with finding an overhead valve V8 engine, not the engine that's in the Trespasser, it's a slightly different one. If I can find a supercharged, even better. And I could do with finding a couple of Fords, or at least something that I reckon has the right kind of running gear. So, we are here at our favourite place in the game, the junkyard. What are we going to be able to come across? This looks like a... it is a V8, it's an overhead valve V8. Now, a fair few of the bits in this will be transferable. In fact, that does look like that has got double wishbone front suspension. Can I have a look at what it's got rear suspension? Can we do the age-old Finnish head bump method and have a look through the car? No, we cannot. It's quite well hidden under there. That might be possible for at least some bits, like the engine, the cylinder heads. There's at least... Have they got both sides on? Yeah, it has got both sides on it. Things like distributor and so on. A good possibility of repair. That might not be a terrible donor car. At least for some of the engine bits. The supercharger, I don't actually know if the supercharger is repairable, because I have found them before, and I don't think I've been able to repair them. That being said, it might just be that they were in very, very poor condition. It is very possible. I spy some more cars up over there. Ooh. Are you another Trespasser? You look like... Oh, you haven't got very much of an engine. Though you will have some of the running gear stuff that I need. Probably about as much as the other car did, though, is the wrong engine. We have got a Bel Air. What are you? You're a two-car Bel Air. Again, got some good cylinder heads on that one. Again, we've got double wishbone front suspension by the looks of it, from what I can tell. The rear, I can't remember if this one here is a leaf spring or not. Can we... Oh, there's a dip here. Let's go down, hide. Can we not crawl underneath the car to have a look? I don't think so, somehow. And then we have got this thing. Again, it's another largely similar engine from that. We don't have, sadly, a Ford around the place for any bodywork. You have got a missing intake, but not that it matters because we've got to have a supercharger intake. Well, I mean, we've got lots of V8 overhead valve engines to work with here, which is good. I'm pretty sure that's all of the stuff. It's going to come down to which of these cars. I mean, I don't really want to pay 15 grand. Because I'm not worried about the car. Whatever car I end up with here, I don't really care about that vehicle. It's just going to be stripped down for the parts that I need for the hot rod. So whichever one of these, that's 10 grand. The Bandit is looking promising. That's a 10 grand car. That's another 10 grand one. Here, well, since I last played, it's been a little while actually. Some various updates. We've now got more condition measures, I guess you could say, which is quite neat. You were the Trespasser, weren't you? You don't have an engine that's of any use to me particularly. Frame condition is actually only 8 grand as well. Frame condition isn't too bad. No, you've not got the engine I want, so don't really see the point. I think I'm going to get the Bandit. Hope that it has the rear suspension that I want. We will get this car. We'll buy you. Yep, you can go. Yeah, I'll spend 10 grand on you. You can go to the garage. We will have one more reload of the junkyard just to see if we can find another Ford. So the search continues for... Ooh, that's another very green car. They did like their green cars. Look at that. And that is impressive. It's going to be no use to me. I like the colour. I approve. I approve of the bravery with the colour. Are we going to find a Ford? Ooh. We might not have found a Ford, but we have found something else. Okay, what engine have you got? You got a... What engine is... Oh, it's a normal one-carb engine. However, more excitingly, look! We've finally found an RX-3! Yes, I'm having you. You're a fair bit of money, but we're having you. Yes. Now, I might have... I might have spent a little bit too much money if something interesting might occur, like an Aston Martin, because we haven't quite got... I haven't actually got the hugest amount of money for... This has been a good trip, because look, I've found a hot rod as well. Perfect. You're an i6, don't care. We've found another hot rod. Brilliant. You are, again, another supercharged. Well, maybe they're all supercharged. I don't know. Interior condition is 100%. Excellent. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Let's go and grab that then. It's only 7.5 grand. We will buy you. Yes, I want you. Crap, my garage is currently full. We'll send you to the car park. You've got an orange engine. Okay. So there's a new version of the Bolt Reptilia with a more powerful engine in it. That's quite cool, but again, no use for me. You look like no, you're just a normal Atlanta. And it does have the correct engine, or does have a useful engine. But I think we might be okay for engine parts for now, between the Bandit, and the second Ford. I think we're good. Well, that was a very, very successful junkyard trip. So, here we are, back in our workshop. I guess the best place to start is going to be tear apart this car. We will get everything off. We'll get this sort of stripped down to the frame, and then we will see what we're working with. What parts are going to need to be okay, we've got rid of all of that crap as well. What parts are we're going to need to steal off the other vehicles? What bits I can repair, what bits I can't repair, what bits we might need to go scavenge a little bit more for. That looks like a very, very shiny... Okay, it wasn't in particularly great condition. However, it was a very, very shiny cylinder that we pulled off the car. With having drum brakes at the rear, there is a little bit more stuff in there that can be repaired. Okay, to get underneath. We have to lift the car up. Sure. Yeah, with the drum brakes, I believe a little bit more can be repaired, possibly, than the disc brakes, which we will probably have at the front. I think everything in this game has disc brakes at the front. I'm trying to remember if I've seen a car that doesn't. Maybe the old Ford F100 pickup truck look-alike. That might not have discs at the front. I could be wrong. I could be wrong on that one, so my bad. If that is the case, let's get these horrible, horrible rusty wheels off of the vehicle. Things like tyres, I can't really do anything about. To be honest, I mean, I could search around the junkyard to try and find like high percentage conditioned tyres. It would... They appear sometimes in every kind of junk pile that you'll go, or every time you sort of load the junkyard, there'll probably be 3 or 4 parts in all of the piles that will be at over all of the parts in that area. There'll probably be 3 or 4 that are around the 98% mark. Thing is, they could be anything, and the number of mods that I've got installed, it may well be a door for a car that we haven't come across yet. I'm not going to spoil it for when, hopefully, we find some of them. And yeah, trying to find 4 tyres of the same size, of the same style, it's not going to ever happen. So things like that, we will just go and buy. If the bits can be repaired, though, if they can be, if they are repairable, then we will. I'll do my very best to scavenge them, to hunt them down and find them. I think I might have some various bits like calipers left over from previous builds. A lot of them were repaired stuff, so I'm going to say that that's fair game if I have them hanging around. I mean, let's face it, things like brake calipers, I can get them off anything. It's not exactly they're not exactly the awkward bits to find on these cars. Let's get rid of that, and then we've got all of this guff that is yeah, I mean, it's a fairly technical front end we've got going on this car. Oh wait, there's an outer tie rod, isn't there, somewhere? That's the bugger. Okay, get rid of that. I believe, as I said, we have got the other hot rod. I believe the radiator C is what we'll find on most of these old cars. So again, fairly straightforward. The Bandit probably has that as well. Things like the supercharger and the supercharger manifold are probably going to be two of the more awkward bits to find or get. Oh, we're going to get the bearing in there. That's the one that we want. Because yeah, if I break them on this car, there's a small chance. Well, it's a small chance I could break both of them. And apparently, supercharged engines, the overhead valve supercharged engines, are quite rare. We've only come across it on this car so far. We've come across the alternate engines in other vehicles, but finding, I say alternate, we've come across some slightly different V8s and some sort of i6 lower spec models, if you like. We're finding a supercharged one proving to be quite difficult. After that Reptilia supercharged that I had hanging around the place, although that was a modern, that wasn't an overhead valve engine, that would be a modern supercharger. It wouldn't be any use for this. So yeah, apparently trying to find superchargers is a little bit on the difficult side. Just really hope one of them somewhere is going to be repairable. Okay, that's all of that guff done. Don't have an oil pan because of course we don't. What I might do, Aston Martin, for now, if we go and move you, you know what, you go on the test path. That works for me. We're going to move you on the test path, and then we're going to move this onto lifter C. I'm going to actually put this... no, I can stay there for now. I just wanted to have a look at the engine in this. Because, again, the engine in these Fords are mostly complete, which surprises me, considering the state that we normally get them in from the junkyard, where most of the engine's missing. These are largely complete. Again, it's another one without an oil pan. What is it with oil pans? They seem to be the most difficult things to find. This has an oil pan. Admittedly, it is one that I bought for it, because I'm pretty sure this didn't. Yeah, that has an oil pan, because I needed to get that. Can I move the car straight off the lifter? Ha-ha! Sneaky! That's helpful. Do you have an oil pan? I don't know why I'm worrying about this particular moment when I haven't got the engine out of the car. Either way, let's play the game of, does our car have an oil pan or not? Or are you going to be another one that is... Oh, you're missing a bloody thing as well. How difficult is it to find oil pans in this... And you've got leaf springs at the back. I was expecting more from the from the Bandit. Okay, so yeah, apparently, what's it called? What am I doing? I'm at. Apparently, trying to find oil pans. We're gonna have to buy. How many cars are we gonna have to buy to find an overhead valve oil pan? Or we're gonna have to. We might have to go through like scavenger hunt around all of the junk pile to try and find an overhead valve oil pan. Of all of the parts, if that's it, because none of these cars apparently have them from. In fact, this thing doesn't. But this particular engine doesn't believe in big end bearings. Apparently, it's perfectly okay to not worry about any of those things. Let's get the oil filter out. Shall we get rid? Oh, I was going to say, shall we get rid of the starter motor? Doesn't have one. Hoping we're gonna. Just doesn't have a huge amount. It's gonna be kind of curious to see how many cars will it take to be able to Dota build up a car? It's gonna probably, well, it's probably gonna take more than the cars that I currently have sat here, in all honesty. What have you got? Have you got a starter motor? No, you do not. You look fair. You do have the carburetors and the air filters, which I don't have on this, which has got the supercharger. Oh, we have got a carburetor. Do you have a starter motor on you? Somebody... No? Nobody has a starter motor. I know the Trespasser does, but... okay, apparently in this weird and wacky world of FailRace Industries car mechanicking, nobody believes in starter motors or oil pans for their junk cars. It's just... it's just apparently the way of the world here. I'm really hoping these bits here are repairable and that I can repair them, because they're going to be an awkward bugger to try and find from the old scavenging. Now, I'm fairly sure I can never fix up the valve push rods. Let's get the spark plug out. Things like the valve push rods, things like the spark plugs, I can't repair them. I can find old wrecked ones around the junkyard, but that's going to be no good. It's going to be of no use finding a old ruined... Oh, we've got a rocker... a rocker arm. We might be, again, just about able to make something complete between the lot of them. I guess a way. I've just had a pondery. Again, it'll be a way to get better condition parts. You might be able to find at the auction house like a vaguely complete or vaguely decent condition car with an V8 overhead valve engine. It might be on a crappy car, but you could, again, cannibalize bits out of that in good condition. That being said, they're not going to be 100%. They're still going to be 70, 80%, maybe. And that is, again, only a maybe. Won't know until you get the car back. I don't know if any 5-star cars go through the auction house. I'd imagine not, seeing as we've got, you know, the car saloon for that. Okay, you could buy one of these if it appears there. I actually know if it does spawn in there. From then you would have everything at 100%, but then why on earth am I bothering doing this? So, you know, some bits are going to have to be bought. As much as I'd like to kind of do a whole find everything sort of a build, I do actually want to be able to build this car to a good restoration with parts. So yeah, a couple of bits are going to have to be on the board. All right, let's get rid of all of these terrible buggered pistons. I think I can't do anything about repairing the pistons. Now, the crankshaft, that is something that I can do with repairing. We will get away with that. The likes of the block and the engine heads and so on. All of that can be. Let's get the battery out as well while we are here. We will have to lift the car up. I don't know why I'm doing this all in the car. It would probably be better to have done it all over on the engine stand, but that is not the way I've decided to do it this time. Oh, do we need to get the camshaft out? We probably will. I'm guessing the grille doesn't come out. Just about how shiny the grille is, it's probably already been repaired with the body frame. Alright, camshaft out, engine done. Okay, so that's pretty much the car, with the exception of the interior that I'm not going to touch yet. That's finishing touches. Let's go and have a look at the repair bench. Let's see if... Oh, we might be able to save one of the rod caps. Oh, I've got to cut there. I remember how to mechanicking. Hey, we saved one of the rod caps. We have saved both of the engine heads. We've got a solid rear control arm thing. That's saved. That's saved. That did get saved in all of this. Okay, clutch plate. Back at 100%. We're doing... No. Nope. I didn't even have to say it, I just had to merely think it, and we were immediately punished with some terrible luck. Right, these are not going too terribly. We have buggered up a couple of the rod caps, distributor done, radiator is sorted, bearing caps are doing okay. I should be able to get, come on, yes, we've got the cross member complete, that's also good. Engine block, here we go. Don't break that. Fantastic. Camshaft can be done. That's done. That's done. And so is that. Right. So quite a few of the big parts actually were fixable. Perhaps the most important thing was the... Okay, crankshaft was gone beyond belief. I don't even know if I ruined that one or whether that was too broken to begin with. Things like water pump, I can pull that off something else. Pistons we can't do. It's the supercharger intake manifold and the supercharger themselves that are both a pile of crap from that car. Now, are you going to have a supercharger? You've got two headlights at least, which is something. Are you going to have a supercharger that I can... I say, have you got a supercharger I can pinch? Have you got a supercharger that is going to work? Let's get the carburetors off. We can, again, we can use these carburetors potentially. They're 28%. That's pretty good. That's good enough to be at least attempting a repair. Please don't be completely wrecked. Please don't be completely wrecked. Please don't be completely wrecked. Come on, supercharger. We would like you to be about 21%. Okay, that might be repairable. Better than 13%. Now, please be about 20% again with the intake. That's probably not going to be repairable. Trying to find one of those intake manifolds is going to be hell. I can sense it already. I don't think the supercharger is repairable. I can repair the carburetors. That's really annoying. That's really annoying. I would have thought of all of the big kind of bits of the car, at least the supercharger would be repairable. Bugger. I might have to buy one. It's not really what I wanted to be saying here, but it does look like I might have to be. Okay, we haven't got an alternator. Don't think we have a power steering pump. Oh, they were too destroyed. We don't have a fuel filter either. Camshaft. Aha! That's at least a good enough condition. Distributors are all wrecked. I don't think they're repairable either way. Let's go and lift this up then. Have a look underneath at what I can get installed for now. Crossmember D is in there. Steering rack. We have got a repaired one at least. Sway bar. We have again got a repaired one of those. Perfect. Can't complain. Steering knuckle B. We might be able to get one corner of this car done at least with the recovered bits. And again, I'll pull them off the other hot rod. And we can go from there. I've got bottom suspension arms coming out my ears at the moment, it seems. They're repaired ones that I forgot were repaired and bought others for previous builds, say with upper suspension arms. That's good news, though. We're making the most. We are reusing. It's not cheating either, because these are all stuff that I've pulled off other cars. They're not bought parts. They are all pulled off of other vehicles. So yeah, we have got that corner kind of ready to go. What have we got as far as the rear of the car goes? I think we actually did a really good job of not breaking everything here. I think, for once, as rare as it is for me to say, we have done a pretty solid job of not completely ruining the entire car. I mean, at least one side. We can have, at the moment, it looks like it's the left-hand side of the car is going to be good. The right-hand side of the car, maybe not so much. They're buggered. They might not be repairable, though. And a solid control arm can go in there. We've still got some rubber bushings hanging around. Sweet. Leaf spring plate. Yep, we got a good one of those. Have we got any U-bolts? We've got 3 of them. Look at that. And there'll be another one over here. We might even have got, I think these were fixed up, the spring caps. Yes, they were. Springs won't be. However, spring caps are good to go. Do we have one of these? Yes, we did have this side as well, didn't we? Let's go. Let's get all of this. And this is just from the bits that I pulled off this car, and I've pulled off previous builds and forgotten about. So, mostly. Oh no, don't want that. Go away. Go away. Horrible rusty bit. We don't want any of you on here. Okay, hot rod's taking shape. I'm glad I managed to save most of the main parts on this. Most of the main parts on this are not looking too bad. We will have to steal some. Basically, the right-hand side of this, that car's going to have to come off. We might have to look at stealing some engine parts, possibly. It's going to be like the rod caps and the camshaft, the crankshaft bearings and all of that are going to have to come off here. This looks like it's got most of its rod caps, thankfully. Yeah, that's got a lot of those. Things like alternator, power steering pump, water pump, they can be nicked and reused. Well, there we go. The hot rod is started, is coming along quite nicely. I think we've got some good donor cars as well to be working with. That, though, is going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.